Hey everyone, it's Dan Charles with LiteForex. It is January 10th, 2020, and I'm going to take a look at the major Forex pairs. So let's start with the Australian USD. Okay, so the other day I was saying I was expecting a rebound. You can see we got this rebound here. I talked about this low, 68.49, as important support. And to me, I thought it was going to rebound, and it did rebound. Going forward, though, looking at the 240, to me, it looks like there might be some more downside. And you can see on the 60-minute, we have some resistance at the high of 69.10. You can see here that price was hit at 12, and then at 1 o'clock, 69.10, and then here we went down. And to me, it's putting in a lower high. And it looks like it could definitely pull back more just based on this 240-minute chart. But overall, I think it might come back and then continue this upswing. Let's take a look at the Australian futures. So yeah, I was expecting a rebound on the futures. You can see here, price held this support price at 68.53. Just such a big gap down. It was really predictable for this rebound. Yeah, I just feel like looking at the higher time frames, it does look like there's more upside, but looking at the 240-minute, I feel like this is going to come back. You can see that resistance is on the futures as well, hitting that high of 69.21 and then dropping. So I'm expecting this to come down and then potentially continue with the upswing. I'm going to draw a line right through the center point, but realistically 6900 is going to be the price. So let's move that down to 69. Yeah, 69. There we go. Remove that. Boom. Okay, so 6900. That's going to be the support price. Let's see if it can pull back a little bit, fill this gap in, and then potentially continue the upward movement. Euro USD, I was expecting a rebound as well on this one. You can see we got a rebound. To me, it looks like there's more upside on the Euro USD, but I think short term it could come back a little bit. You look at the 240. We're also hitting resistance on the Euro USD at 11 and 12 o'clock. The high 1.1123. That resistance was hit and then down. So to me, this looks like this could pull back a little bit more, but it does look like it's putting in a solid bottom here, and there is some support. You can see the low 1.1085, next candle 1086, and then straight up. So you can see there's strong support at that price. But just looking at this, this is really setting up to come back a little bit more. Let's see if it can come back and then turn around. Let's take a look at the Euro futures. Okay, so the Euro futures, this exact price I drew in was hit. So I drew in that this low is going to be very important, this 1.11305. And what was the low today? 11305, and then hit that support. So that's how you know when to be a buyer, because I mentioned this key support price. So as soon as it hit that support price and then started trending back up, it's a very safe time to get in for a buying opportunity. Yeah, to me this looks like there's more upside. But like I was mentioning, it could pull back slightly before it continues this uptrend. Okay, I've been very neutral the last couple times on the pound USD. I was leaning more to the downside, but more neutral because we're just in this range, this 1.3054 and 32.18 roughly. We're just in this range, and it needs to break one way or the other. you can definitely see there's support at that price because we're closing above the price. You can see it dip below, but then closed back above. Same thing today, dip below, closed above. Clearly the weekly chart is lining up more bearish. Putting in these lower highs, just bearish candles, long upper wicks. Usually the momentum is going to be to the downside. And even looking at the monthly chart, it does look like it could have more downside. But as long as it's holding this support, just like we looked at with the euro, if this comes back and then holds this support and then has a little bit of a breakout, like it's trending up, and on lower time frames it's setting up nicely, then you know this is strong support. We already see it is, and then that would be an opportunity that I would be looking at for an entry. Now if we go to the British pound, kind of similar. I just said we're kind of rangy. Did dip below this range. Found resistance on this range though. So that low was 1.3094. Price came up and hit 1.3094 and then closed below that price. So that is definitely something to note. Yeah, it's I still don't really like the pound. I'm going to be more neutral, but you got to watch that support on the pound USD. If it holds that support and starts to break out on a lower time frame, a 5-minute or a 15-minute is what I usually follow, then it would be a good entry point that I would be looking to take. Okay, New Zealand USD. Now, New Zealand USD, I was expecting more of a rebound on this one. It dropped and then rebounded today, but it's in the range of the previous day's candle. So you can see the open is 66.58, the high today 66.45. Yeah, this one is definitely trading kind of strange. I am actually leaning more towards continue to the upside. Did put in a higher low today, but I don't really like the way this is setting up. If we're looking at the 240-minute, you can see the lower highs in place there. Does look like it could come back more, but I'm eyeing more the daily chart, and to me this looks like this could have a rebound going forward. But let's take a look and see if the New Zealand futures look any different. And yeah, looking at the New Zealand futures, to me, I'm definitely leaning more to the upside just by looking at this. So I'm going to be more bullish on the New Zealand USD. Okay, on to the USD CAD. Now, I was saying last time it looked like there's more upside on the USD CAD, and you can see it did go higher. Now I was saying we could come back a little bit and then continue the uptrend. So you can see here, we came down, hit this low of the low was 30.26. So it came down and then turned around and continued going up. Now you can also see this long upper wick. And from before, I mentioned this center point on the monthly chart, and that would be a resistance. You can see that level is 31.26. The high was 31.05. So you can see it looks like it is hitting that resistance and pulling back. We also have this resistance here at the low of 31. So 3100 is very critical support and resistance. Obviously right now it's resistance. We have this gap here. To me it looks like this could actually come down now after hitting that resistance. So I'm leaning more towards this pulling back, but it might just pull back and then turn around. So maybe it pulls back for a day or two and then potentially sets up to go higher. Because when I look at this chart, to me it looks more like this is a pretty solid bottom right now, and anything can change though with the market. But as of right now, this looks like it's putting in a pretty solid bottom. I expect it to pull back, and then I'll reevaluate in a couple days just to see what it does. But that's kind of how I'm playing this one. If we look at the Canadian dollar, it was definitely looking overextended when I looked at this last night. To me, I was expecting a bounce on the Canadian dollar just because we have these big gap down yesterday, and usually when you have a big gap down with a long lower wick like this, to me you're going to pretty consistent, you're going to get a bounce, you're going to get a rebound. We do have this resistance at this low of 76.665. Price went through it and then back down. Going forward, the Canadian dollar, it just looks to me like this could pull up and then pull down. So it always helps to look at the Canadian dollar with the USDCAD, because sometimes you just see something a little bit different. Like if we're looking at the 240 minute here, this definitely looks like it's forming a nice bottom here, and to me it looks like there's more upside looking at the 240, and even on the 60, just the way it's setting up on the 60. You can see we had nice setups here, nice support. You get this little pulls up, pulls back, holds support, and then really sets up nicely for the next move up. We put in some lower highs, we pull back. We have kind of a failed a fake out here for another long trade. Goes the other way, but now it's holding these lows, and it does look to me more like, based on the 60, that there's more upside on the Canadian dollar, which would mean there's downside on the USD CAD. But that's exactly what I was saying. The USD CAD looks more like it's going to pull back and then potentially turn around. So this one, it's a little bit mixed. As of right now, I'm going with that I think we're going to pull back, but we could be more bullish longer term. Okay, lastly, on the USD yen. So I was saying that we're looking more bullish, but we could pull back, and I drew in this 109 price, and today price came down, hit 109, sorry, yesterday 109.02, and then started pulling up. That's where you know we have strong support, and there's the buying opportunity. Breakout yesterday, and then today we go a little bit higher. We hit that resistance from these prices of 109.68, and then we have some higher resistance at 109.71. Today we hit 109.69 and then down. We do have a big gap here. This definitely looks more like this could pull back before it continues the uptrend, but until it busts through this strong resistance prices, you got to be more leaning more to the downside on this one for now, but it could easily pull back for a day or two and then try again to bust through that resistance. Let's take a look at the yen futures though. Yen futures, yeah, the yen futures looks like it needs a bounce to the upside. So that fits with the USD yen having a bounce to the downside. You can just see we're overextended here. Big gaps. I'm expecting this to come up and the USD yen to come down. Okay, we'll do a check in the next couple days. We'll see how this analysis goes. Please hit the like button if you like my accuracy. Sign up for a demo account down below this video with LiteForex. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.